Welcome to a realistic price outlook for Bitcoin in the year of 2026. Guys and girls, this year has been an eventful year, but when we look at the results, the year-to-date performance has been in the negative. So a lot of people are upset, and a lot of people are also severely uninterested in the crypto markets. If we look into Ben Cowen's social metrics historical risk indicator, we're currently at zero, and we've been trading at zero for many weeks. And this has never happened before in Bitcoin's history. If you look at the bottom left hand of your screen, you will see what I'm talking about. And this represents the amount of uninterest about crypto and Bitcoin. Nobody's searching about Bitcoin, nobody's searching about crypto, simply nobody cares. And it's not because prices have been depressing, it's because there has been no liquidity in the markets. And guess what? In the year of 2026, that's exactly what we're going to get. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain to the best of my ability why I think 2026 is going to be pivotal and why, as a whole, I don't think it's going to be as bad as people expect it to be. But really, the light at the end of the tunnel comes in 2027. But before we jump into any of those topics, if you guys can destroy the like button and subscribe to the channel for me, that would be absolutely amazing if you enjoy this content. We sometimes don't only do daily technical analysis, but bring on guests like Peter Schiff, who, if you like him or not, I've had the pleasure of spending a lot of time with him over the past 2-3 days. And he's actually a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He's a cool guy. I think he is also smart because gold is doing fantastic, but he's just a little bit confused about Bitcoin. And I know that Trump called him a loser today, but I don't agree. I just think he's confused about Bitcoin. That's all. In the end, I think he's a cool guy. If you want to check this video out, it's the last video I've posted. You can go to the channel.
The chances are, as you're watching this video,
the last video posted. It's funny, it's hilarious. I don't agree with what he's saying.
Here with the legendary Peter Schiff.
I don't agree with it, but I think it's worth watching. I think you guys have enjoyed it too, so make sure to go and check it out. It was pretty funny. Let's go and talk about 2026 and why it's going to be pivotal. I've listened to many analysts over the past few days in Binance Blockchain Week, prominently Ben Cowen and also Raoul Pal. And the biggest topic of discussion was the amount of liquidity that's going to be injected into markets going into next year. Everybody knows that quantitative easing is about to kick off. We know that QE is beginning in Q2 roughly of 2026. We know the last time that we got QE was the point where Bitcoin went exponential. We went from the $10,000 to the $60,000 mark. However, we also know that from a 4-year cycle perspective, Bitcoin is mimicking the structure of the last cycle perfectly. From the 1,064 days it took from bottom to top, from that being the same, you're also getting price action appearing to be very similar here at the same time. Look, you got the first high, and then you got the second high, which was higher than the first high, just ever so slightly, and then you've got the correction. Now Bitcoin is sort of consolidating. We will likely test the 200 daily moving average and then go down. I think the only difference that we're going to see in 2026 is that I don't see Bitcoin plummeting like 70 or 50 to 70% after experiencing this price action. I think instead of seeing a huge vomit, even though structurally we're going to be the same and we're going to be in a technical bear market, I think instead of vomiting to the downside, we're going to copy the 2019 price action, because when you go to liquidity and if you go to how the economy is doing overall, we're much more similar to 2019 than we are to the 2021 Q4 top. And that can be represented by the ISM PMI numbers, which we can put this one over here. So you can see that the economy is in a contraction phase currently, and it was in 2019 too. And if you look at the social risk indicator, you were just at lows in 2019 as well. After that peak, we got the peak, and then you dipped to severe lows. And then it took time going into QE and after QE for interest to come back into the market. So there's a lot of similarities. And I'm going to drop an interview that we ran with Ben Cowen 2 days back. I'm just waiting on a few things to upload it. He's explained it very well and in detail, so you need to stay tuned for it. There's so many similarities from a liquidity and a business cycle perspective from the current price action and 2019 price action. So where that, yes, structurally we have reached the top and we will go into a technical bear market, I just don't think, like that prior cycle Q4, I don't think we're going to see a vomit. I think we're going to mimic what we did in 2019, obviously discounting COVID because COVID was a black swan and we cannot assume that something like COVID is going to repeat. So this doesn't make sense. Once you take that out of the picture, you just consolidate it to the downside for a couple of months, and then QE was introduced. And into QE, you still dumped because it takes half a year to a year for any sort of liquidity event to then result into equities going up because of asset price inflation. It will take half a year to a year. Probably on the lower end, since we have new financial products like ETFs and more treasury companies, there's more avenues for capital to flow into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies than before. So let's assume we get quantitative easing in Q2 of 2026. Let's assume that it's a half-year process for liquidity to transfer into Bitcoin, equities, and altcoins. That would put you into Q4, end of Q4, 2026 going to 2027, until where you can see a reversal again. Next year is a midterm year. Every midterm year is a bearish year, but the Trump administration are going to do the best they can to make sure the economy is still doing well in midterms to not lose the parliament. They need to have good midterms to keep a majority in Senate and obviously in Congress. So they're going to try to do that using monetary policy intervention. They're already getting Kevin Hassett most likely to become the new Fed chair. That will probably create the sentiment of a more politicized Fed, reduce the value of the dollar, reduce interest rates, print a bunch of money. All of these things will take place in 2026 and will cause asset price inflation into 2027, and I believe beyond. So I think the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to continue accumulating primarily Bitcoin and then whichever altcoins that you truly like, not just your microcaps, random microcaps. I think specific projects, if you like them, and if you believe in the business model long term, I think that could be a year of accumulation. At least it's what I'm doing. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, Ondo Finance, Medieval Empires, Solana. I'm buying the things that I truly believe in, but Bitcoin is the dominant one, and I'm going to be doing that all across 2026. That's my plan. If you're asking, okay, CryptoKid, when do you see the price of Bitcoin actually bottoming? Well, I think the bottom will happen in terms of which price, probably around the 200 weekly moving average. In every single midterm year, Bitcoin bottoms at the 200 weekly moving average, and I think we're probably going to do the same. That price level is going to land between $65,000 to $70,000, but probably into the 65 region. So guys, that is a quick update for a Saturday. I know markets are boring. Please hang in there. Just have patience. Bitcoin tends to do nothing for most of its time, and then the significant price moves up and significant price moves down happen in a very short period of time. So you need to make sure that you're consistent to catch those moves, and that would mean that you need to still be active and in the markets where in a time there's nothing happening. But guys and girls, that's it for me. If you're looking for a place to be trading crypto and Bitcoin on, links are down in the description to Weeks, Pinex, Coinflare, Bybit, and all of our partners. So check them out if you're looking for a place to trade. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all on the next video very soon. Bye-bye, guys.